You really think your ex would have ever turned you down for anything?" she said, loud enough for half the bar to hear, while I sat frozen at our table. That night an open mic at some downtown dive was supposed to be casual, fun, just friends, music, a few laughs. Instead, it became the night everything I thought I knew about us collapsed in front of 30 strangers. And however many people were watching her Instagram live. I'm Ethan. Sloane, my girlfriend of almost 2 years, plans events for a living. Different worlds, different rhythms, but somehow I thought it worked. Or at least, I thought it did until that night. It started subtly, about 8 months into our relationship. She began bringing up her ex, Kyle, not in some closure way, but in a way that always made me feel less. Kyle would have loved this band. Kyle knew all the best taco trucks. At first I told myself it was harmless. I'm patient, calm, analytical. That's why she said she loved Mr. Ball, rational, a man who doesn't play games. But the comparisons sharpened. When I suggested we stay in and cook, she'd shrugged and mutter, "Kyle would have made this fun, spontaneous." When I took time thinking through plans, she'd say, "I overanalyzed everything." I wanted to call it out, but I held back, thinking I was being mature. Looking back, that was mistake number 1. The real problem? The way she told stories about us. When Sloane spoke about me to friends, her words carried this soft undercurrent of disappointment. But Kyle's stories, those were golden, glowing with nostalgia. Spontaneous road trips, tattoos on a whim, dramatic fights that somehow ended in passionate makeups. I wasn't that guy. I never pretended to be. I tried to be patient, hoping she'd see me the way she claimed she did at the beginning. I thought I was being rational, that love was about understanding. But slowly, I felt myself shrinking, like I was just filling a space between her chaos and the idealized version of Kyle. Then came that night. Sloane had been drinking, playful but tipsy. She was glued to her phone until, without warning, she wandered onto the tiny stage area, phone in hand, streaming live. My name came out of her mouth before I even realized what was happening. "See that guy?" she said, pointing at me. "That's my boyfriend. He can't lead. My ex would never turn me down for anything. This one needs a spreadsheet just to decide what to have for breakfast." The bar laughed. Some were uncomfortable, others clearly entertained. She didn't stop. I tried to bring passion into this relationship, but he's just so beige, safe, boring. And then, that fake yawn. The heat rushed to my face, but I didn't yell. I didn't defend myself. I just left, no jacket, no goodbye, no confrontation. I walked out, beer still in hand, leaving her stunned, the live stream still running. That was it. No words, just silence, and a sudden clarity that had been building over months. The next morning, I woke up with a decision already made. I spent the day methodically packing my things, clothes, kitchen gear, the desk setup I'd built, everything I'd contributed. I left a note with the concierge, off the lease, and blocked her everywhere: number, social media, Venmo, email. Complete communication blackout. Her reactions came quickly. Burner phones, new accounts, frantic messages. "Baby, I was drunk. You're overreacting. We need to talk." Our mutual friends got involved, pushing me to hear her out. But I realized something crucial in that moment. I wasn't being cold. I was protecting myself. I had spent 2 years trying to be enough for someone who never actually valued who I was. Even now, thinking back, I remember the quiet after I left. Maya, a close co-worker with a spare room, offered me refuge. Her calm, quiet presence was a stark contrast to the chaos I'd just walked away from. Dinner together, documentaries, long walks in the sun during lunch breaks, no tests, no jabs disguised as jokes, just peace. And in that peace, I realized something important. Boundaries aren't cruel. They're necessary. Respect isn't optional. And sometimes, walking away is the most loving thing you can do. For yourself, asterisk. The first few days after leaving Sloane was strange. Silence had a weight to it, both comforting and unsettling. My apartment felt like it had shrunk, each corner a reminder of what I'd left behind. But I felt alive. There was no drama, no judgment, no constant comparison to Kyle, just space to breathe. Maya had been solid. She didn't pry. She didn't ask why I left or make me relive the humiliation. She just made coffee in the mornings, left me alone when I needed it, and sometimes we'd sit on her balcony watching the city lights flicker. Quiet moments like that felt like a lifeline. But Sloane didn't take the silence well. By day 3, the burner phone started different numbers, same obsessive tone. Answer me. This is ridiculous. Baby, I know I messed up. Just 5 minutes. I ignored them all. I didn't block them. I didn't need to. I just let them ring and go silent. By day 5, the tone shifted. Anger replaced apology. You're punishing me for one drunk moment. That's controlling. The absurdity of it hit me. Controlling. She had humiliated me in front of strangers for entertainment, for likes, for comments. And now she claimed I was wrong for walking away. Then came the friends. Kiara and Max, 2 people I had trusted, started pushing me. Max called first. Dude, she's a wreck. Just give her closure. Talk to her. I laughed bitterly. Talk to someone who live-streamed calling me boring and beige to strangers. That's not closure. That's public shaming. Kiara sent a long, carefully worded message. She's really struggling. You should at least give her a chance to apologize in person. It's the mature thing. I typed 1 sentence back. I've had 2 years of her face. That's enough. I'm done. Then I unfriended them both. Maybe that made me the villain. But I realized quickly that my boundaries weren't negotiable. In the evenings, Maya and I cooked. Simple meals, pasta, stir-fry, tacos. Nothing fancy. But there was laughter, casual conversation, no tension. I hadn't realized how much I had forgotten what normal felt like. The absence of drama was almost intoxicating. A week later, Sloane found Maya's Instagram. Somehow, she followed, liked old photos, commented with vague messages. Love this energy. Coffee soon. Maya raised an eyebrow and shrugged. She's fishing for information. Don't bite, and I didn't. There was nothing to find, nothing to take back. Things escalated slightly when Kiara sent me screenshots. Sloane had apparently shown up at Kyle's tattoo studio. According to the messages, she told him she'd made a mistake, that she wanted to try again to see if they could work. Kyle, however, didn't engage. He told her she was addicted to chaos, that what she remembered as passion was just dysfunction. Then he blocked her. Reading that, I felt vindicated. Kyle, the man she had idealized, the benchmark she had compared me to constantly, wanted nothing to do with her. The chaos she had chased didn't exist outside her own narrative. For the first time, I felt a strange kind of closure. Sloane, meanwhile, was becoming increasingly erratic on Instagram. Cryptic quotes about real love and fighting for someone's heart. Photos of the bar where she had humiliated me. Captions about learning who really has your back. It was a performance, a show, a desperate attempt to reclaim attention. I stayed out of it. I blocked curiosity as much as I could. Then, one night, rain hammered the city. Around 10 p.m., there was a knock at Maya's door. I knew immediately who it was. Sloane, drenched, makeup smudged, standing in the hallway. Maya glanced at me, waiting for my cue. I just nodded. Sloane immediately launched into words. "Ethan, please, I miss you. I miss how safe everything felt with you." I didn't step forward. I just looked at her through the crack in the door. "You knew what safe felt like," I said quietly. "You just didn't care." Her eyes watered. She reached out, trying to grab my hand. "I care now. I made a stupid mistake." I interrupted. "No, you made a choice. You chose entertainment over respect. Now you want safety because the other option didn't want you back. That's not fair. That's accurate." She didn't argue. Her face crumpled, the first hint of vulnerability I had ever seen from her. I felt no anger, only a strange calm. Maya silently handed me a cup of tea while Sloane lingered, unsure, waiting for something I wasn't going to give. In those moments, I realized something vital. I wasn't just walking away from a person. I was walking toward myself. Every step, every block, every silent morning with Maya was reclaiming a part of me that had been suffocated by her comparisons. Her chaos, her need to perform drama as love, the open mic, the Instagram live, the endless references to Qley wasn't about me. It was about her needing validation, needing an audience, needing to believe her life had passion. And I, for 2 years, had been playing a role in her drama, unknowingly auditioning for a part she had written long before I arrived. That night, as Sloane left, soaked and silent, I didn't feel guilty. I felt done, finally. The days after Sloane's soaked appearance blurred together. Life settled into a strange rhythm. I woke up without dread, drank coffee without tension, and for the first time in months, I could actually breathe. The city outside Maya's apartment window felt alive, but it wasn't chaotic. It was calm, predictable in a way that made space for clarity. I started focusing on myself in ways I hadn't allowed before. The climbing gym became a sanctuary. Each route was a challenge, a puzzle that required focus, patience, and trust in my own abilities. Beginner problems gave way to intermediate climbs, and the satisfaction of reaching the top, muscles trembling and hands raw, was unlike anything I had felt in my relationship with Sloane. There was no comparison, no judgment, no need to prove anything to anyone. Just me. Work, too, became grounding. I threw myself into projects with renewed energy, and 6 weeks later, I was promoted to senior UX lead. The raise gave me the independence I needed to finally move into my own apartment. A small one-bedroom in a quieter part of town. Minimalist, clean, just enough space for me to exist without interference. No throw pillows Sloane would have judged. No curated decor, she insisted, made it feel lived in. Just breathing room. Socially, I kept my circle tight. I didn't reach out to Kiara or Max, even when I ran into them at a coffee shop near the office. Kiara tried to offer an apology for pushing me towards Sloane, but I politely nodded and walked away. Not every bridge is worth rebuilding. Some burn for a reason, and I wasn't about to wade back into a world that had taught me my boundaries were optional. Maya and I, meanwhile, settled into a quiet companionship. We watched documentaries, cooked dinners together, and laughed over trivialities. It wasn't romantic at first, and I was careful to maintain that her friendship was a stabilizing force, not a rebound. But slowly, I realized that having someone in my life who didn't test me, didn't create drama, didn't push me to perform love as entertainment, was healing. One Saturday, an invitation arrived to a small engagement party for one of Maya's friends. I almost declined, preferring the comfort of routine, but Maya encouraged me. You'll be around people who don't care about your personal drama. That's good for you. The venue was a cozy wine bar downtown, low-key, about 30 people. I was talking to Maya's friends, laughing about trivial office stories, when I saw her Sloane across the room, scanning faces, clearly trying to find me. Maya noticed my reaction and followed my gaze. I just nodded. Sloane approached cautiously, like she had rehearsed every word. Ethan, can we please talk? Just 5 minutes. The room seemed to quiet around us, people pretending not to watch, while clearly eavesdropping. My gut reaction was to walk away, to leave the past firmly behind, but a small part of me wanted closure. Not for her, but for me. I agreed. 3 minutes, I said. Her eyes widened slightly, but she nodded. She took a deep breath, looking nervous but sincere. I was drunk and stupid. I said things I didn't mean. I was going through a lot and took it out on you. You didn't deserve that. I'm truly sorry. I miss us. I miss feeling secure. I let her finish, then spoke slowly. The open mic wasn't the problem. It was the clearest reflection of how you really felt all along. You spent the relationship telling me I wasn't exciting enough, not spontaneous enough, not Kyle. You used me as stability while chasing drama elsewhere. Her face shifted from hope to unease. That's not fair, she whispered. I shook my head. It's fair. You wanted me to perform love over and over. That's not love. That's a test. And I failed it because I refused to be part of a performance. Her eyes glistened with tears. I just wanted to feel wanted, she said. I nodded, my voice calm. You were wanted, Sloane, just not for what you really wanted. You craved chaos, not me. Maya, quietly observing from the side, touched my shoulder and nodded. We walked out together, leaving Sloane standing there, silent in a way that didn't hurt me. She was no longer a threat, no longer a force that could destabilize my peace. In the days that followed, my routines deepened. I ran into a friend of Kyle's, and eventually Kyle himself reached out. Over coffee, we spoke candidly. He was engaged now, working as a substance abuse counselor, a grounded, stable man. He told me Sloane had romanticized their relationship, remembering dysfunction as passion. His perspective confirmed what I had learned firsthand. Drama isn't depth, chaos isn't love, and slowly life returned to normal. Climbing sessions, work projects, weekend hiking trips, quiet nights with Maya, meals shared without tension. My apartment felt like a sanctuary. Sleep came easily. My mind was clear. I wasn't chasing validation. I wasn't performing love. I was simply living. Weeks passed, and the quiet life I had carved out with Maya became almost routine comfortable in a way I hadn't known I needed. No tests, no comparisons, no need to perform. It was almost disorienting at first. I realized how exhausted I had been, living with the constant pressure of proving myself to someone who couldn't see me for who I was. Work had been a blessing. The promotion allowed me to finally sign a lease for a small one-bedroom in a quieter part of town. Moving day was simple but symbolic. Boxes labeled office, kitchen, clothes lined the hallway. Each item a reminder of a life I had built on my own terms. Sloane was nowhere to be seen. No calls, no burner numbers, no cryptic Instagram stories. Just silence. Maya helped with the move, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. We laughed carrying boxes up the stairs, joked about the tiny elevator that barely fit 2 people and a single sofa. Her presence was grounding, a calm in the storm that had been my life for years. For the first time, I didn't feel the need to fill silence with drama. The silence was good, but Sloane wasn't done entirely. One evening, a mutual friend reached out, passing a message along. "Sloane wanted you to know she's changed. She's trying to be better." I didn't respond. Change isn't validated through a third party, and I didn't owe her recognition for that. My boundaries weren't about punishment. They were about self-respect. At the climbing gym, I noticed something new. I wasn't climbing to prove anything. I wasn't measuring myself against anyone else's expectations. Each route became a meditation, a test of focus and patience. I could see progress, feel my body strengthen, and it felt deeply satisfying. I was becoming a version of myself that I had neglected for too long. One weekend, a group from the gym planned a backpacking trip to Red River Gorge, 3 days in the wilderness, navigating cliffs, rivers, and dense forest, with nothing but the essentials on my back. It was liberating. The chaos of city life, the constant comparisons, and the ghost of Sloane faded with every mile. By the time we returned, I felt restored. Maya and I continued our evenings, together, simple meals, documentaries, occasional board games. She never tested me, never dramatized a disagreement, never expected me to be anyone other than who I was. Slowly, I realized that stability could be exciting in its own way. I didn't need chaos to feel alive. I needed respect, kindness, and partnership. Then came a surprising message, this time from Kyle. He'd heard about what had happened with Sloane over coffee. He told me that his past relationship with her had been similarly turbulent, filled with highs and lows that seemed like passion but were really just dysfunction. Hearing that, I felt a quiet vindication. My instincts had been correct all along. The drama she chased wasn't about love. It was about control and chaos. Meanwhile, Sloane's presence in my world dwindled to nothing. Her Instagram posts were sparse, generic quotes about growth, healing, and self-reflection. The excitement, the comparisons, the public humiliation, they all faded. It was as if the universe had quietly erased her influence from my life, leaving only the lessons she had taught me. Boundaries matter, self-respect is non-negotiable, and peace is something worth protecting. Life was settling into a rhythm I could finally call my own. I went to the climbing gym before work, occasionally met friends for coffee, and even started experimenting with cooking new dishes. Simple pleasures, but deeply satisfying. I didn't feel the need to chase validation or approval. I was enough for myself. One night, Maya and I were sitting on the balcony, the city lights twinkling in the distance. She handed me a cup of tea, and we watched the world move quietly below. I felt a sense of calm that I hadn't experienced in years. It wasn't excitement in the traditional, chaotic sense. It was steadiness. It was peace. And for the first time, I realized I didn't want anything else. It's been 3 months since that open mic night, the night everything changed. Sloane hasn't contacted me once since the engagement party. No burner numbers, no Instagram messages, no friends trying to mediate. The silence is liberating. I check her social media occasionally out of habit, but the posts are sparse, mostly generic quotes about growth or The person who once made my life chaotic is now just a shadow, a memory I no longer carry with tension or anger. My apartment feels like a sanctuary. I arranged it the way I want, minimal, clean, open space to breathe. No decorations imposed by anyone else, no judgments on style or color. Just me, my routines, my space. And in this space, I've found joy in simple things. Morning coffee on the balcony, a short hike on the weekends, reading in quiet corners of the city, and yes, climbing. Climbing has become almost meditative. I've moved from intermediate routes to leading climbs with confidence, physically challenging myself, but also mentally freeing myself from the chaos of the past. Maya has been a constant, steady presence. We've continued to cook meals together, watch documentaries, and occasionally go for walks. Our relationship hasn't been rushed or forced. She hasn't tested me, hasn't created drama, hasn't demanded performances of love. For the first time, I've realized that stability doesn't mean boredom, it's a foundation. Something safe and strong, not fragile or conditional. Over time, we decided to see if we could date. It's slow, gentle, but it's real. There are no games, no tests. Just 2 people enjoying each other's company without fear, without performance, without comparison. A month ago, I ran into Kiara at a coffee shop near work. She tried to apologize for pressuring me about Sloane, and I accepted it politely, but I didn't reconnect. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt, and mine with her hand Max weren't necessary for my peace. I've learned that not everyone deserves access to your life, especially if they've consistently disregarded your boundaries. Then there was Kyle. He reached out through a mutual friend, curious about how things ended. We met for coffee, and the conversation was unexpectedly validating. He shared his own experiences with Sloane, confirming what I had learned firsthand. The chaos she had romanticized wasn't about love. It was dysfunction masquerading as passion. He was now engaged, a grounded, stable man, working as a substance abuse counselor, and had completely moved past that chapter of his life. Hearing his perspective reaffirmed what I already knew. I had made the right choice. Sloane, for her part, seems to have faded out of my orbit completely. Her posts are few, her engagement with others minimal. I don't know what she's doing, and I don't need to. She's someone I used to know, a lesson in boundaries, self-respect, and the importance of walking away from people who don't value you for who you are. In my own world, I've found rhythm. The climbing gym, weekend hikes, a stable apartment, meaningful work, and the slow blossoming of something genuine with Maya. Nights are quiet. Mornings are calm, and for the first time in years, I feel safe in my own life. I sleep well, I eat well, and I look forward to the future without anxiety or expectation. One evening, sitting on the balcony with Maya, sipping tea and watching the city lights flicker, I realized something profound. The absence of drama doesn't mean the absence of love or care. True love, real companionship, doesn't require tests or chaos. It's steady, consistent, respectful. And I had finally found it not in drama, not in chaos, but in peace. I unblocked Sloane recently not because I want to talk to her, or because I've forgotten, but because I realized she isn't a threat to my peace. I don't need to watch her, monitor her, or validate her actions anymore. She's just a chapter, and my book continues without her interference. Life isn't perfect. There are challenges at work, climbs that push me to my limits, days when I'm tired or frustrated. But those challenges are mine to face, not projections of someone else's expectations. I've learned to honor my boundaries, to value myself, and to embrace the quiet victories in life. And most importantly, I've learned that peace isn't passive. It's intentional. It's choosing stability over chaos, self-respect over validation, and calm over performance. Sitting here, with Maya nearby, watching the lights of the city, I can honestly say, I'm good. Not just better, not just moving on, not just recovering. I'm good. Actually, genuinely good. No drama, no tests, no chaos. Just life, and for the first time, it feels like mine.